After drinking, I impulsively texted the icy female CEO to resign. I quit. I've had enough of that deadpan, keep your distance face you wear every day. 3 minutes later, the CEO replied, the company has a formal resignation process. Calm down first. If you have concerns about your current position, we can sit down and discuss transferring you. How does that sound? Is that okay? Where did you go? Reply to me already. I stared at the messages constantly popping up on my screen, feeling unbearably heavy. My eyelids kept drooping, and the alcohol was rushing to my head. In the end, I drifted off in a daze. On the other end, Shen was nearly frantic. Fangs you, say something. Listen. This is not a discussion. This is an order from your direct supervisor. Reply within 5 minutes of receiving this message, or it will be treated as an unexcused absence. Fine. Was I too harsh just now? Let me rephrase that. Mr. Fangzhu, regarding your resignation request, the company takes it very seriously. A special task force has been formed to assess it. Team leader, me. Team member, also me. After a preliminary assessment, your reasons for resigning are invalid. Denied. Thank you. You did not go up to the roof, did you? If you jumped off the roof, who will make my quarterly report slides for next Monday? I am joking. I really am worried about you, but the slides are real. I need them Monday. Fangzhu, reply to me. I am counting to 3. 2.75. Fine. I cannot keep counting. You win. I admit it. I do look unpleasant in the office, but do you know why? Because every time you walk past my office door, my heart starts racing. I can only tighten my expression to hide it. You thought I was glaring at you. I was sneaking looks at you. You thought I slammed the desk at you. I was so nervous my hand shook, and I could not control my strength. We can negotiate your raise. Name your price. As long as it does not exceed the company's annual revenue, I will not even blink. And if it does, I will approve it anyway. How about you come back to work first? I promise I will change. In meetings, I will not snap at you or glare at you. I will not slam the desk. I will not scold you for being late. If you play games at work, I will pretend not to see it. If you order takeout at work, I will pay for it. If you sleep at work, I will tuck you in with a little blanket. Wait, am I hiring an employee or adopting a pet? I have made a major decision. You do not have to come back to work. You can be the boss. I have already drafted a share transfer agreement. Transfer percentage. Transfer price. You agree to be my boyfriend. That is a fair valuation, right? I had one of the big four accounting firms review it. Do you know, Shen have spent 10 years ruling the business world. The biggest deal I ever lost was worth 300 million yuan. But even then, I was not this panicked. If 300 million yuan is gone, I can earn it back. But if I lose you, who am I supposed to make money with? I like you. Ever since the day of your interview, when you introduced yourself and gave a 90-degree bow, nearly smashing into the corner of the desk, the entire company laughed. Only I thought this fool was adorable. Are you even there? This is what I look like right now, wearing a silk nightgown, with a face mask on, sitting on my living room floor, hugging my phone like a golden retriever waiting for its owner to come home. Shen worth 800 million yuan, is a golden retriever. Are you satisfied now? If you still will not reply, I will drive over and find you myself. But let me warn you first, when I panic, my sense of direction gets worse. So if you see on the news tomorrow morning that a female CEO drove a Porsche at dawn into the pond at your apartment complex, that will be me. Remember to come down and pull me out. Shen has transferred 5 million yuan to you. This is a good faith deposit. If you dare take the money and still do not reply, I will have legal sue you for romantic fraud. Our legal department is very good. They won 23 cases last year. One more will not hurt. You big idiot. Are you already asleep? Forget it. Sleep. I will stop bothering you. But remember this. You owe me replies to 47 messages. When you wake up, answer every one of them. Interest will be calculated separately. Good night, you big idiot. You really are asleep. Then let me say it once more. I really do like you. I am not joking about that. Alright. I really will not send another message. The first thing you do tomorrow when you wake up must be replying to me, or I will move your desk into my office. No one can stop me. Alright. This really is the final message. Just kidding. You big idiot, reply to me. Those 47 messages were read all at once the next morning, after I woke with a pounding hangover. I read them in one breath. My feeling after reading them was, I thought I was still dreaming. No, it was more absurd than a dream. Even in my dreams, I would not dare imagine Shen whining like that. I leaned against the headboard for nearly 2 minutes, trying to recover. I repeatedly confirmed 3 things. First, those messages really came from Shen WeChat account. Second, that 5 million yuan transfer was real. Third, last night, I really did text my direct boss. I've had enough of your deadpan face. Once I confirmed the third point, I was completely awake. Not from being moved, but from fear. Fang's Yu, an executive assistant earning 10,000 yuan a month, had drunkenly insulted a female CEO worth 800 million yuan last night. Not only had she not fired me, she had also sent me 47 messages, plus 5 million yuan. Something was wrong. My mind raced. The likeliest explanation was that she was testing me. Think about it. Someone who had dominated business for 10 years. How could she possibly send things like this on WeChat? Like some young girl. What if these messages were some kind of a high-level psychological management tactic? First, they build you up until your head is in the clouds. Then they slap you back down. Fangs you. Considering your passable work performance, I will not hold last night's disrespect against you. But mind your boundaries in the future. The thought made me break out in a cold sweat. Besides, even if I gave her every benefit of the doubt, what could I say if all those messages were sincere? President Shen, I like you too. What a joke. She was the CEO, and I was just an employee. She lived in a 220 square meter Riverview apartment. The water heater in my rental was broken. That difference in status was right there. If I played along with her, what would that make me? I stared at the screen for a long time, then typed a line. I typed another, then deleted it. In the end, I chose the safest reply. President Shen, I saw your messages from last night. I am deeply sorry for causing you trouble. I should not have lost control after drinking. As for resigning, I acted impulsively. I withdraw it. I have returned the transfer through the original channel. I will report to work as usual today. The moment I sent it, I told myself this was the most rational choice. I could not gamble. It was not that I did not want to respond to her. I did not dare. I grew up with my mother in an urban village. My mother worked in a garment factory. She earned 3,000 yuan a month to put me through college. Someone from a family like mine always has a tight string deep inside. Do you deserve her? If Shen Buyu really liked me, then one day, sooner or later, she would see who I truly was and regret it. Then I would be the one humiliated and embarrassed. Better to play dumb now. Playing dumb was safest. I arrived at the company at 9:10. I was 10 minutes late. The young woman at reception gave me a strange look, as if she wanted to say something, but held back. Finally, she murmured, "Fang, President Shen seems to be in a bad mood today." I thought, when had she ever been in a good mood? No, that was not right. She seemed pretty happy last night. At least, she had seemed happy while texting. I sat at my desk and turned on my computer. Out of the corner of my eye, I glanced toward the CEO's office. The door was shut tight, and the blinds were completely down. Those blinds were Shen Buyu's emotional barometer. Fully open meant she could be spoken to normally today. Half open meant keep the small talk to a minimum. Fully closed meant keep out, enter at your own risk. I took a deep breath, grabbed the draft of the quarterly report, and knocked on her door. "Come in," she said, her voice cold as a freezer. I pushed the door open. Shen Buyu sat behind her desk, dressed in a black suit, her hair impeccably tied back. She lifted her eyes from the computer screen and looked at me for 1 second, then looked away. Just 1 second. The draft report. Please review it. I set the folder on her desk. She opened it and read 2 pages. Her tone was exactly the same as in meetings. For the user growth model in part 3, cite the data sources. Also, the wording on the conclusion page is too soft. Make it more decision-oriented. Understood. Send me the presentation before Monday. Understood. That is all. I turned to leave. Wait, I stopped, my heart suddenly racing. What was she going to say? Would she mention last night? Shen Buyu paused for 2 seconds, then said, "Your ID badge is crooked." I looked down, straightened my badge, and walked out. Outside, I stood dazed in the hallway for several seconds. That was it. 47 messages, a 5 million yuan transfer. I like you. And when we met today, all she said was that my badge was crooked. I did not understand, but on second thought, maybe that was exactly right. She probably thought those messages last night had been too impulsive too. Today, she had regained her reason. We would silently turn the page together. Pretending nothing had happened was probably for the best. I returned to my desk, opened a presentation template, and got to work. Less than 2 minutes later, a message from Inlan popped up. "Bro, why are you still coming to work? Did you not quit last night?" I replied. I took it back. "Inlan, seriously? You caved that easily? You sounded so tough last night. I am never taking this crap again." Me. That was the alcohol talking. "Inlan, fine. You lovesick fool." I did not reply. Not because he was wrong. It was because, when I straightened my badge just now, my gaze seemed to meet Shen Buyu's. The instant I looked down, she seemed to be watching me. Forget it. I was definitely overthinking it. The following week was the strangest week since I joined the company. Shen Buyu's attitude toward me changed. Not for the better, nor for the worse. It became precise. How precise? Every word she said stayed strictly within the scope of work. She did not say one word more. She used to show some emotion in meetings, at least. For example, who came up with this proposal? Where is your brain? Now it became, this proposal is not very feasible. Please revise it and resubmit, like an artificial intelligence. During several meetings, I felt that she was deliberately avoiding looking at me. It was obvious. Her gaze would sweep from the colleague to my left to the colleague on my right, precisely skipping over me in between, as if there were an invisible person sitting in my seat. But sometimes she gave herself away. Wednesday afternoon, I went to the break room for water. On my way back, I passed her office. The blinds were cracked open. I was not deliberately looking, but I caught a glimpse from the corner of my eye. She was looking outside through that narrow gap. The instant I turned my head, the blinds snapped shut. She closed them so fast, calling it guilt would not be an exaggeration. Thursday morning was even more ridiculous. And Lan, Shen Buyu's secretary, a young man who spoke softly but had incredibly sharp eyes, set a cup of coffee on my desk. Fang, this is for you. I looked at the coffee. Who told you to bring this? And Lan did not bat an eye. Administration ordered it for everyone. 1 cup per person. I scanned the office. Sure enough, everyone had a cup on their desk. All right, thanks. I took a sip. It was a hand-brewed Americano, with no sugar, no milk. Exactly how I liked it. Wait, if administration had ordered them all, how did they know everyone's drink preferences? I looked at the cup on Shenzi's desk next to mine. It said latte. Mine said Americano, no sugar. That order was far too precise. Later, I heard from Lan that the coffee that day had been an emergency order Shen Buyu suddenly gave administration. The baffled administration staff had, within half an hour, scrambled to get coffee for all 200 employees. Apparently, it cost nearly 10,000 yuan for this 1 cup. No, definitely not. I was overthinking again. But that Americano's temperature really was exactly how I liked it. Warm, not hot enough to burn my mouth. By Friday, things started taking a strange turn. A new representative from one of our partners came to the company. Shang Xinci. She was around 27 or 28, with a round face. She had 2 dimples when she smiled. She liked to gesture with her hands as she talked. She seemed bright and refreshingly straightforward. She had come to coordinate the joint 4th quarter promotional campaign. I was in charge of coordinating its execution on our side, so we spent the most time dealing with each other. Shang Xinci had a special talent. She could strike up a conversation with anyone within 3 minutes. On the first day we met, she asked me, "What brand are those drip coffee bags in your break room? They are so good. I want to buy some myself." From there, we went from drip bags to coffee-growing regions, then to her trip to Yunnan last month, where a monkey had nearly snatched her phone. I laughed a relaxed, natural laugh, because Shang Xinci was the kind of person who made conversation feel effortless. What I did not notice was that we were chatting right outside the break room, and through the gap in Shen Buyu's office blinds, she could clearly see the break room entrance. At 3 that afternoon, I received an internal notice. It concerned the joint 4th quarter promotional campaign and a change in the execution coordinator. After company deliberation, the project's execution coordinator would be changed from Fang Zhu to Wang Teng. Relevant personnel should prepare for the handover. I froze. I had developed the entire initial plan for this project. I had also handled the client relationship from the beginning. And now, suddenly, I was being replaced. I went to see Shen Buyu, President Shen, about replacing me on the joint promotional campaign. She flipped through documents without even looking up. "We are optimizing personnel allocation. It was the company's decision, but I have been following this project for 2 months. You have plenty of other work. This will lighten your load." Her voice was too calm, unnaturally calm. I stood there, watching her for several seconds. She never looked up, but I noticed the fingers turning her pages. Her knuckles had turned white. I said nothing more and turned away. Back at my desk, I stared at that notice for a long time. Then I opened the Notes app on my phone and added a line to the bottom of an entry. October 10th. After President Shen saw Shang Xinci and me chatting in the break room, she replaced me on the project that afternoon. The title of this was Evidence That Shen Buyu's Feelings for Fang Zhu. I started recording it 7 months ago. By today, it already had 81 entries. You must think I am full of contradictions. Yet I have been recording evidence that she liked me. So why did I pretend not to understand her messages that morning? Because knowing she might like me, and knowing I could return those feelings, were 2 different things. As I said before, I grew up in an urban village. My mother raised me alone. From childhood to adulthood, not one item of clothing I wore cost more than 50 yuan. In high school, there was a girl in my class who treated me well. She often brought me milk and bread. I thought she liked me. I worked up the courage to confess to her. I still remember her expression. First, she froze. Then she smiled gently and said, "Fang Zhu, I just thought you had it hard. I wanted to help you. Do not read too much into it." She meant no harm, but those words, "do not read too much into it," stayed carved into my heart for years. After that, I made a rule for myself. When someone treats you well, assume it is kindness, not love. Do not think too highly of yourself. Do you even deserve it? So even with 81 pieces of evidence, even after she said, "I like you," That night, there was still a voice inside me saying, what if she does not? What if it was just a moment of impulse? What if she wakes up tomorrow and regrets it? I could not take that gamble. I could not afford to. Xinci did not know I had been replaced, so she still came to our company for meetings. The first time she ran into me in the hall, she stopped me and asked, Fang's, are you free this Saturday? What do you need? My boyfriend, Zhang Tao, wants to propose at a lookout in the suburbs. Yes, I know. He cannot keep a secret. He got drunk last week and let it slip. But I have never been to the place he picked. He asked me to scout it out first, to check the route and whether it would work for decorations. Going alone would be boring. Would you come with me? I agreed. It was no big deal. What I did not know was that Lan casually told Shen Buyu about it. Or rather, not so casually. And Lan had a particular talent. He could precisely deliver every piece of information about me straight to Shen Buyu's ears, while looking completely innocent. Near quitting time on Friday, and Lan came to my desk to collect documents, and seemingly offhandedly said, Fang, I heard you are hiking with Xinci this weekend. He did not say it loudly, but it was loud enough for several co-workers nearby to hear. Before I could explain, my phone buzzed. It was an all-staff announcement in the company group chat. Urgent notice. This Saturday, October 19th, a special seminar on digital transformation and industry innovation will be held. Location: 3rd floor multi-purpose hall. The following personnel must attend. A list of names followed. Mine was 3rd. I checked the time. Friday, 5:47 p.m. They were announcing tomorrow's seminar just before the workday ended. I went to administration to confirm it. When was this seminar decided on? The young administration employee looked troubled. President Shen notified us at 4 this afternoon. She said it was an industry hot topic we had to keep up with. Fang, please do not ask. I have not even found a speaker yet. At 9 Saturday morning, I sat in the multi-purpose hall. The speaker was a professor hastily invited from some business school. He was actually not bad, but the audience was sparse. The notice had come too suddenly. Most people found excuses to take leave. In the end, only 6 people showed up, myself included. 6 people sat in a hall built for 80, listening as a professor passionately explained the underlying logic of digital transformation. The scene was utterly surreal, but that was not the most surreal part. The most surreal part came when I turned to grab my water cup and saw Shen Buyu sitting in the second row behind me, off to the side. She wore a light gray cashmere coat and thin-rimmed glasses. A notebook lay open before her, and she was writing. When had she arrived? Throughout the lecture, my back prickled. I knew she was behind me, but I did not dare turn around. During the break, I went to the restroom. As I passed the row beside her, I secretly glanced at her notebook. It was full of writing, but it was not seminar notes, because I vaguely saw a line that read, Shen Buyu, are you out of your mind? Repeated over and over. I did not dare look closer. I hurried away. My heart raced, not from fear, but because, in that instant, I remembered the 81 entries in my notes. Entry 82 should be October 19th. President Shen apparently held a seminar to stop me from going out with Xinci that weekend. Only 6 people attended. This woman, honestly, writing, Shen Buyu, what is wrong with you? While continuing to do things like this, I could not keep pretending. If I did, she might really do something even more outrageous. The Monday after the seminar, I gave Shen Buyu the revised quarterly report presentation. While making it, I hesitated for a long time. In the end, I added a tiny line to the final slide. The font was size 8, gray, invisible unless you looked closely. You forgot the notes you took at Saturday's seminar in the meeting room. I put them away for you. They are on the file rack outside your office. Fang's you. I did not know how she would react when she saw it, but I wanted to test the waters. Her response came sooner than I expected. At that afternoon, a dull thud came from Shen Buyu's office, and Lan ran over to look. She said President Shen had dropped her cup. At 10, the intercom at Shen Buyu's secretary's desk rang, and Lan, send Fang's in. When I entered, Shen Buyu was sitting in her chair, her hands clasped on the desk, her knuckles white again. The presentation was still open on the final slide. She looked at me with a complicated expression. Close the door. I closed it. Did you see that page? No. Then I said, I saw it, but I did not read it closely. I only glimpsed it. She stared hard at me, as if judging whether I was lying. I kept a straight face. After a long silence, she asked, is there anything else? I should have said no, then turned and left. That was the safest script. I had played it for over half a year. I knew it by heart. But that afternoon, maybe it was that 6-person seminar, or the notebook page full of, Shen Buyu, what is wrong with you? Or the 82 entries in my notes, or that Americano at exactly the temperature I like. I did not leave. I said, President Shen. Xinci is the girlfriend of my college classmate Zhang Tao. She asked me to go hiking last Saturday to scout Zhang Tao's proposal site. I did not get the chance to explain, but I think you may have misunderstood. A tiny crack appeared in Shen Bai's expression, but I saw it. She said, I did not misunderstand anything. The personnel change was a normal work arrangement. I said, then was that seminar also a normal work arrangement? The crack widened. She said nothing. I should have stopped while I was ahead, but I did not. President Shen. Because of what happened that night. Are you deliberately keeping your distance from me? Her pen clattered onto the desk. You are overthinking it. Get out. I did not move. President Shen. I said, get out. There is one more thing. I looked at her. Those 47 messages you sent that night. Her breath visibly caught. I was not asleep. The office fell silent. So silent, I could hear the central air conditioning hum, the footsteps of someone passing in the hall, and the faint sound of her joints as she clenched her fingers. What? I was awake. I said, I read every single one. The instant I said that, Shen Bai's face changed. It did not turn cold. It cracked. All the calm detachment she had so carefully maintained shattered across the floor like glass. Her eyes reddened. Then why? Her voice trembled. Why did you send that kind of reply the next day? I took my phone from my pocket, opened a note, and handed it to her. Evidence that Shen Bai's feelings for Fang's you. She took my phone and looked down. At first, she only frowned. Then her eyes widened more and more. March 12th, President Shen singled me out for criticism in a meeting. Afterward, she secretly had Lan bring me a hot cocoa. April 3rd, after returning from a business trip, someone had slipped a box of motion sickness pills into my suitcase, and Lan said they were from administration, but administration had no budget for that. May 7th, President Shen said my overtime report was terrible. Then she stayed that night to revise it with me until 11. When she left, she draped her coat over my chair, then pretended not to know about it the next day. June 20th, passing her office, I heard her telling Lan, the color of Fang Shu's shirt looks nice today. Then she told Lan not to tell me. July 14th, company-wide team building event. President Shen looked cold as she toasted everyone. When it was my turn, she looked at me 1 second longer. I thought I had imagined it, but later, I found a group photo in the event chat album. She was in the back row, and she was looking at me. August 29th, President Shen returned from a week-long business trip. She sent a message to the company group chat. Please submit this week's departmental reports on time, but only for mine. She sent me a private message, asking, are you doing okay lately? Then she immediately unsent it, but I took a screenshot. 82 entries in all. She scrolled through them from beginning to end, her hand shaking. When she finished, she looked up at me. Her eyes were utterly red. Her voice was hoarse and quiet. You knew all along. I am not oblivious. I said, I have always known. Then why? You are my boss. I said, I did not dare act rashly. I feared I might misread you. More than that, I feared I might not. She froze. If you truly like me, then I could not casually respond to you. You deserved a formal, sincere answer. Not one spoken while drunk or in a moment of impulse. I looked at her. You sent 47 messages that night. I wanted to answer everyone, but I told myself to wait a little longer. Wait until I could tell you face to face. Sober and seriously. Shen Bai bit her lip, tears nearly falling, but she forcibly held them back. I said, President Shen. She said nothing. I like you too. She finally could not hold it in anymore. Her tears fell all at once, but the way she cried was funny, laughing as she wept, while forcefully shoving the files on her desk toward me, as if she wanted to hit me with them. You. What is wrong with you? Do you know what this past week has been like for me? I know. You do not know a thing. Do you know I sat through that seminar all day, just because of you, just to stop you from going hiking with Shang Xinci? Who says that? It was an industry trend seminar. An industry trend seminar with 6 people. She grabbed the pen holder from her desk and threw it at me. I caught it. You jerk. You absolute jerk. Do you know how scared I was after sending those 47 messages? That night? I know. You do not. You read them all, yet you still pretended to be asleep. Is your heart made of stone? I was trying to make sure. Make sure of what? That you meant it. Her tears were still falling, but the corner of her mouth lifted almost imperceptibly. I stepped closer. Since the day you interviewed me, she wiped her eyes. What? You asked me what I thought my biggest weakness was. I said, being the handsome, because it distracts my co-workers. Every interviewer looked furious, except you. The corner of your mouth twitched. She was stunned. In that moment, I knew you were not as cold as you looked. She started crying again. This time, she did not throw anything or curse at me. She just sat there with her head lowered, her shoulders trembling. After a long while, she sniffed, then said in a voice both fierce and soft, one entry in your note is wrong. Which one? June 20th. What I told Lan was not. The color of Fang Shu's shirt looks nice today. Then what did you say? She muttered so quietly I almost could not hear her. I said, Fangs, you look so handsome today. I could die. And Lan toned it down for me. I could not hold back my laughter. Humiliated and angry, she grabbed another pen and threw it at me. What are you laughing at? I am not laughing. You are laughing. Yes, I am laughing. I picked up the pen and put it back on her desk. Then I bent down and lightly kissed her forehead. Shen turned bright red all at once, from the tips of her ears down to her neck. Then she did something I considered a miracle. Within 3 seconds, she erased every expression from her face, returning to that icy, unapproachable face. She said professionally, "You may leave. I have no further comments on the presentation." Yes, President Shen. Mind your boundaries in the office from now on. Yes, President Shen. You can go now. Yes, President Shen. You are actually leaving? Do not go. Come back. After that, things developed naturally. At least, that is what we told everyone else. In reality, from confessing to officially defining our relationship, Shen pulled countless stunts that left me laughing and crying. First came the secrecy. She demanded that we have zero interaction at work. Her reason was, I am the president, and you are my special assistant. It would look bad if people found out. I agreed, which led to scenes like this. During meetings, she would present the strategic plan at the front, her gaze sweeping the room but skipping only me. But under the table, the tip of her shoe would secretly touch mine. I looked down and saw she was wearing the high heels I had once casually said looked nice. I would send her a work email, and she would reply with one. The body read, "Attached are the third quarter operating figures. Please review." But the attachment was named Hot Pot or Takeout Tonight, and it was an Excel spreadsheet. I opened the file, and it really contained third quarter data. But hidden in Sheet 2 was a drop-down menu. The options were Hot Pot, anything is fine. You decide. Or if you do not reply, I am having instant noodles. I chose Hot Pot. 3 seconds later, her email reply arrived, received. Then my WeChat notification sounded. Come on, Hot Pot after work. I went on a 2-day business trip. When I returned, there was an extra coat at my desk. It was my coat, the one I had left at the office before. But it had been folded neatly, and it carried a faint scent of perfume. Not my perfume. Later, and Lan told me privately, the president kept your coat in her office for 2 days. I saw her hold it and smell it 3 times. The 3rd time I caught her, she said, I was checking whether the fabric meets regulations. When I heard that, I laughed for 3 whole minutes. When Shen found out I had laughed, she told me very seriously, and Lan is unacceptable. She cannot keep a secret. I am replacing my secretary. I said, if you replace him, who will help you send me coffee? She glared at me, then muttered, then I will not replace her. And Lan was the last to find out. No. And Lan might still not be sure. Even now, he only knew I no longer complained about Shen Bai's icy face, that I started arriving at work on time, even early every day, and that I stopped complaining about overtime. Once over a meal, and Lan asked me outright, is something wrong with you lately? Why are you like a different person? You used to curse Shen Bai every day, but now you never even mention her. I said, I have matured. And Lan looked at me skeptically. Do not tell me she has brainwashed you. No, do not tell me. You have fallen for her. Just eat your food. And Lan slapped his thigh. I knew it. People like you, getting tortured every day, always end up with Stockholm Syndrome. Buddy, wake up. She is an iceberg. She is the devil. Remember when she tore into you at your performance review? I smiled. I only learned the truth about that review meeting later. Shen Bai checked my data 3 times that day. It was right every time. But she was too nervous, because the way I stood before the projector and spoke was so serious and so handsome. Her exact words. Her heart raced so hard her brain was not getting enough blood. So, when she looked at the 3rd quarter growth rate, her eyes skipped a line. She mistook the number from the line above for this one. Then she announced in front of everyone that my data was wrong. She regretted it the moment she said it, but in front of the entire company, she could not take it back. She could only grit her teeth and finish scolding me. After the meeting, she sat in her office for 40 minutes, thinking up 12 ways to make it right. In the end, she had Lan bring me a hot cocoa. That was the most she could manage as an olive branch. That is just who Shen Bayu is. Every bit of her tenderness has to take 3 detours before reaching me, even when her concern is only 2 yards away. She insists on taking an 11-mile maze to deliver it, but I do not mind. I even find it adorable. I thought of the first entry in my notes. The day I received that hot cocoa, I thought, she was the one who had the scent, was not she? That was when I began keeping records. Not because I have an obsession with collecting evidence, but because I was afraid that one day, I would lose my nerve. A voice might tell me, you are imagining things. She did not mean it that way. Do you even deserve her? Then I could open these notes, look at these 82 entries. No, there are 83 now, and tell myself, you are not imagining it. She really likes you. Look. The proof is right here. Not long after we made our relationship official, Shen Bayu suddenly asked me one day, those notes from the seminar, you really did not look closely? I said, I really did not. I only glanced at them. I saw, Shen Bayu, are you sick? Then I looked away. She let out a breath, but still seemed uneasy. Where is that paper now? It is still in the file rack outside your office, right? She paused. I could not find it. I froze. Then we tore her office apart and still could not find it. The cleaning lady probably took it away as scrap paper. For 5 minutes, Shen Buyu's expression swung between relief that it had been destroyed and terror that it might have fallen into someone else's hands. Finally, she said, "Forget it. There was no name on it anyway." Wait, I think there was. I am doomed. I comforted her. Even if someone found it, no one would imagine President Shen had written something like that in a notebook. They would think it was some intern's doodles. She thought about it and found that reasonable. At last, she relaxed. That paper was never lost. But what she did not know was, after I put the notes in the file rack outside her office, I regretted it first thing the next morning. What if someone else took them? So before she arrived at the office, I retrieved the document folder and took it home. Right now, it was resting quietly behind my bookshelf. I pulled out the paper. The front was indeed crammed full of "Shen Buyu, are you sick?" written more than a dozen times. The handwriting went from neat to messy until it nearly carved through the paper. I turned it over. There were not many words on the back, but every character had been traced over many times. They were etched stroke by stroke, like a child practicing handwriting. Fang's you, Xiu, Xiu, little Xiu, husband, crossed out, crossed out, crossed out. I cannot cross it out. Forget it. Leave it. I stared at that page for a long time. Then I took a photo. I sent it to Shen Buyu with the caption, "President Shen, since I joined this company, this is the most carefully written document I have ever seen from you." 3 seconds later, her messages exploded. Delete it. Before I could finish typing, she sent another message. Was that paper not lost? Why do you have it? Liar, I replied. I was afraid someone would find it if it were really lost. So I took it back first thing the next morning and kept it safe for you. She sent a string of exclamation marks, mixed with threads like, "Fang's you are done for. You are dead, and I am going to kill you." Then she suddenly went quiet. About 2 minutes later, she sent, "Do not delete it." I said, "I will not." A few seconds later, "Actually, delete it." "I will not." "Fine. Keep it. You are mine already. Anyway, do not get smug." I replied, "As you command, President Shen." "Shen Buyu, call me your wife." I typed the words and sent them, "My wife." Her reply did not come for a full minute. "You called me that without warning. My heart cannot take it. Give me advance warning before you say it." I said, "Warning. I am about to say it." Then I sent, "My wife." She replied with a period. Then another message, "System crashed. Please try again later." A moment later, she sent another message, "Fang's you. What about those notes of yours? Can you keep adding to them?" Of course. What should entry 83 say? I thought for a moment and typed, October 21st. Shen Buyu told me to call her my wife. Then her system crashed on the spot. Diagnosis, sweetness overload. She sent an emoji, then said, "Good night, you big idiot." "Good night, my wife. Give me a warning. I told you to warn me first." "Oh, warning. Too late. My heart is already racing. You owe me." "Owe you what?" "I'll make it up to you for the rest of my life." "Deal." "All right. I really will stop texting now." One last message. Say, "I love you." I am not joking about this one either. I know. How do you know? Entry 84. Shen Buyu said she loves me. The evidence is conclusive and cannot be overturned. Since when did you become such a smooth talker? I learned from my wife. No warning again. Fang's you. Shen Buyu. Bonus chapter. My name is Shen Buyu. I am worth 800 million yuan. I own 3 subsidiaries. Business magazines call me the Ice Queen CEO. Industry forums call me the Cold Iron Face. In interviews, business partners say negotiating with me feels like sitting on pins and needles. Very few people truly know me. Even fewer know that I am a chronic overthinker. An ordinary woman whose entire system crashes when it comes to romance. To be precise, only to people know. And Lan and Fang's you. And Lan was forced to find out. Fang's you is the one I least wanted to know. Yet it seemed the entire world was conspiring to make me embarrass myself in front of him. It began on the day of his interview. That day, I was perfectly normal while sitting in the conference room. We had been interviewing all morning. Every answer had been conventional and predictable. I was already getting sleepy. Then Fang's you walked in. I cannot explain why. Maybe it was the slightly oversized white shirt he wore. Maybe it was the way the wind had tousled his hair. Or maybe it was simply that when he entered, a beam of sunlight happened to fall over him from the window. My heart suddenly skipped a beat. So inappropriate. So very inappropriate. I quickly switched into interviewer mode. I flipped through his resume and asked a classic question. "What do you think is your biggest weakness?" He thought about it, then said very seriously, "Being too handsome. It distracts my coworkers." Every interviewer scowled, except me. The corner of my mouth twitched to spite myself. I quickly covered my mouth with the back of my hand, pretending to cough. After the interview, Human Resources asked me, President Shen. What do you think of this Fang's? I said. His overall qualifications are good. Hire him. My voice was calm, but my heartbeat had not recovered. That night, after I got home, I had a dream. I dreamed that Fang's gave a 90-degree bow in the conference room, nearly hit the corner of the table, then looked up and smiled at me. That silly, utterly unguarded smile. I woke up smiling. Then I stared at the ceiling for 10 minutes. You are done for, Shen Buyu. You are done for. After he joined the company, I began a half-year campaign to act normal around Fang's. Results? 0. Every time he walked past my office door, my heart races. To hide it, I could only make my expression even more rigid. I know people say I wear a deadpan expression all day, but what they do not know is, most of the time, I was putting on that expression for Fang's. No, it was not an act. It was a system crash. The moment he appeared, my brain crashed. Every social module went offline. Only one default program remained running. It was called Poker Face. Meetings were even more of a disaster. When he gave his work report, he stood before the projector, earnestly flipping through slides and explaining the data. He stood tall, and his logic was crystal clear. I sat at the head of the conference table. My eyes were on the screen, but I was thinking, his top shirt button is undone today. Then I got distracted. Then I read the wrong line. Then I publicly said his numbers were wrong. The instant the words left my mouth, I realized, damn it, I had read it wrong. But the entire company was watching me. I could not take it back. Shen Buyu never makes mistakes. That was the image the marketing department had built for me. I could not shatter it in front of everyone. So I forced myself to scold him for 3 minutes. When I finished, I saw his expression. He was not angry. He was hurt. He lowered his head, fingers clenched around the end of the laser pointer. He said nothing. In that moment, I wanted to strangle myself. After the meeting, I sat in my office thinking for 40 minutes. How could I make it up to him? Apologize directly? No. That would be too obvious. Send him money? Too tacky. In the end, I had Lan buy him a hot cocoa. And Lan asked, under what pretense? I said, tell him it is from administration after the meeting. And Lan gave me a look. I understood that look. She was thinking, President Shen, you will never pursue anyone normally in this lifetime. She was right. Every attempt I made afterward was a spectacular disaster. When he went on business trips, I wanted to slip him a box of motion sickness medicine, but I could not give it to him myself. So I slipped it into his suitcase, then blamed the administration department. To this day, the administration staff have no idea they somehow gained a service of providing motion sickness medicine for senior executives. When he worked late, I stayed to help revise his report until 11. When I left, I deliberately forgot my coat on his chair. Deliberately. I wanted him to find it. Then, when he returned it the next day, I could talk to him a little longer. Instead, the next day he had washed the coat, folded it, and placed it on my desk. There was a note attached. Your coat? For Chinese characters. I secretly tucked that note into my drawer. Unfortunately, and Lan witnessed the whole thing. Her expression could be summed up as, my boss is crazy, but there is nothing I can do about her. Oh. And there was June 20th. Fang's came to work in a light blue shirt. I told Lan that the color of Fang's shirt looked nice today. No. What I actually said was, Fang's is so handsome today. I am going to die. And Lan even froze, water cup in hand. Then she said in a very professional tone, President Shen, if Fang's asks, I will tone it down to, the color looks nice. That was the day I knew Lan was my comrade in arms. Over time, the way she looked at me was more and more like I was a foolish husky. But she was a loyal sheepdog. She was always there to cover for me. Then came that night. He sent that message, I quit. I have had enough of your deadpan face. The instant I saw that message, my mind exploded. Not with anger. With fear. I feared he would really leave. I feared he had truly had enough. I feared that all my efforts over the past half year looked to him like nothing but an unapproachable deadpan face. Then my overthinking engine started. And once it started, there was no stopping it. At first, I sent him a normal work-related reply because I still had a shred of reason left. But 3 minutes later, that shred was not enough because he did not reply. With every second he did not reply, I imagined things. Had he gone up to the roof? Was he packing up to move away? Was he already sending out resumes? Would he never again appear outside my office door? So I began sending message after message, from pleading to threats, from threats to incentives, from incentives to offering him shares, from offering shares to, I like you. The moment I sent it, my hands were ice cold. But after 2 minutes, I could not unsend it. Then I thought, forget it. He was not replying anyway. What if he had really fallen asleep? What if he woke up and thought he was dreaming? So I kept sending messages, each one more outrageous than the last. I hesitated for 30 seconds over the 5 million yuan transfer. But my logic at the time was, if he accepted the money, that meant he had seen my messages, and he would have to reply. After sending it, I felt like a complete sucker. As for the messages that came afterward, I do not even remember how I wrote them. They were probably the product of a complete mental breakdown. By 3:30 in the morning, I was sitting on the living room floor. My face mask had dried and cracked before I finally stopped. The last message I sent was, "Like hell. You big idiot. Reply to me already." Then I clutched my phone and waited for half an hour. No reply. I turned off the lights, lay on the couch, and stared at the ceiling. I thought of so many things. I thought of how he nearly hit the corner of the table when he bowed at his interview. I thought of how he diligently revised his reports after every scolding. I thought of how he fell asleep on his keyboard after working late into the night. I thought of when he handed me documents, and his fingers accidentally touched mine for that fraction of a second. And as I thought, I began to cry. I was worth 800 million yuan, yet I cried like an idiot. When I woke the next morning, I saw his reply. "I saw your messages last night, President Shen. I am very sorry for causing you trouble. I returned the transfer through the original channel. I will report to work as usual today." Every word was professional, clean, and concise. He did not even mention the part where I said I liked him. It was as if last night's 47 messages had been a one-woman show. I placed my phone face down on the table. I sat motionless in the living room for 10 minutes. Then I washed my face and put on makeup. I changed clothes and drove to the office. I pushed open my office door and lowered every blind. Then I told myself, "Listen carefully. From now on, there is only work between you and Fang's. Only work. He does not like you." His reply made that perfectly clear. You are his boss. You cannot keep fooling yourself. You cannot. But when he came to report on work, I still could not stop myself from keeping him 1 second longer. Before letting him leave, I wanted to ask, "Did you really not see where I said I like you?" But what came out was, "Your employee badge is crooked." After work, I sat in the garage for 20 minutes without starting the car. There I was, Shen Buyu, slumped over the steering wheel, her heart shattered into 800 million pieces. Later, and Lan asked me, "President Shen, are you okay?" I said, "I am fine. Order coffee for the entire company. Everyone worked hard today." Then I specifically told her, "Fang's drinks an Americano. No sugar. Warm." And Lan fell silent for a moment. "President Shen, coffee for all for 100 employees. Will cost around 8 or 9,000 yuan today." "Approved." And Lan fell silent again, then said softly, "Then I will process it as an administrative purchase, so he will not know you arranged it." I looked at her. "And Lan, you are a good person." "President Shen, do not cry. It is just allergies." You all know what happened afterward. When Shang Xinci showed up, I went mad with jealousy. I transferred Fang's off the project. He made plans to go hiking with Shang Xinci that weekend. I hastily invented a seminar. At the seminar, I sat behind him, pretending to take notes. But my mind was full of, did he just tilt his head? Was he looking at me? Could he smell my perfume? Then reason returned. I wrote, "Shen Buyu, what is wrong with you?" more than a dozen times across the front of the page. When I finished, I turned to the back. As if possessed, I wrote his name again and again. Then I tried writing, "Fang's is Shen Buyu's husband." When I got to husband, I wanted to cross it out, but my hand was shaking. I could not erase it cleanly, and the more I crossed it out, the clearer it became. In the end, I gave up. I added underneath, "I cannot cross it out. Forget it. Leave it like this." That sheet of paper was the thing in this world I least wanted anyone to see, yet he helped me put it away. He even left me a message on the last slide of the presentation. When I saw that tiny gray text in 8-point font, I nearly slid right out of my chair. And later, he stood in my office and said, I was not asleep. He said he had known all along, and that he liked me too. Then he kissed my forehead. In that moment, I had none of a romantic drama heroine's grace. Only one thought played on repeat in my head. Oh my God. Oh my God. He kissed me. Then I did something completely unbecoming of a female chief executive worth 800 million yuan. It took me 3 seconds to force myself back into Ice Queen mode. I formally told him to leave. 3 seconds later, the Ice Queen melted. I called after him to come back. He turned back, looked at me, and smiled. It was the smile I had wanted to see for over half a year. Relaxed, gentle, with no distance between us. A smile meant for me alone. Shen Buyu had spent 10 years ruling the business world, winning countless hard-fought battles. But that smile was my greatest victory. Then one evening, we were curled up on the couch watching a movie. His phone lit up with a memo reminder. I leaned over and took a look. Number 804. Shen Buyu said she loves me. The evidence is conclusive. It cannot be overturned. I said, you are still keeping track. He said, when I reach 1,000, I will publish a book. I have already thought of the title. My chief executive girlfriend hides her feelings from me every day. If you publish that book, I will publish one too. It will be called Fang Shu's 804 Pieces of Evidence, and how he pretended not to know, and tortured me for 6 whole months. Then our books can be sold as a bundle. Buy one, get one free. Which one is the freebie? I am, he said, I have always been the freebie. You are the main item. Oh, shut up. As you wish. Say that again. Which part? That I have always been the freebie. You are the main item. Alright, deal.